Hello and welcome to Bolt Action Reloading. In today's video we're going to be going a little further in our load development with our Savage 110 BA Stealth chambered in 338 Lapua Magnum. We'll be using the Hornady 270 grain ELD-X with Alliant Reloser 26. Stick around. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here and you'd like to see how I and the rest of you here make our group smaller, start now by subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell icon. That way you get notified when I post new videos and you won't miss anything. I thought it was high time we go back to this 338 Lapua Magnum and give it some attention. So we're once again doing a little bit more load development in this caliber and getting ready to make some hopefully huge progress. Going our platform today, this is a Savage 110 BA Stealth. It is chambered in 338 Lapua Magnum. Only real upgrades we have to the rifle is the Magpul PRS stock, as well as changing the hand grip. This thing is still wearing its factory trigger, as well as the factory muzzle brake that it came with. The scope for today is the SWFA fixed 20 power scope, mil. It's currently wearing 30mm SWFA rings, as well as a SWFA bubble level. At this point in our project, we've done some standard load development, tried to test a couple of powders just to get a feeling for what we thought might give us some progress, and pretty much settled on for our initial things of Reloder 26 and H1000. Well, today we're working with the 270 grain ELD-X by Hornady, as well as Alliant Reloser 26. Primary focus we're doing on today is what some would call a Saturday load development. We're actually only shooting 10 rounds. We're testing the upper limit of the load data we have available to us to make sure we're not going to be overpressure in our rifle and to see if we find any velocity nodes along the way. This is a fairly interesting projectile. A 270 grain ELD-X sports a G1 ballistic coefficient of 0.757, and our load data supposedly is going to get us out to 2,900 feet per second. Again, depending on what powder we choose. According to our data, our powder should not get us there today, but we'll see when we get to that part of the video. Getting right into our load data for today, which actually off the Hornady website. This is a newer projectile, and so, at least as I'm making this video, it was still available for download on Hornady's website. If when you're watching this they've come out with a new manual, you may have to get the manual. But for right now, where we're going to have our starting charge today is at 85 grains, and Hornady's estimate is somewhere around 2,700 feet per second. At our max load of 89.5 grains, 2850 is where it says we're going to end up. Major differences to highlight between this load data is they are using a 27-inch barrel, so their velocity could be slightly higher. They are using Hornady Brass, which probably has a slightly different volume than our Lapua, and they're using Fed 215 primers. So we might as well get right into our load data. Like I mentioned, we're using once-fired Lapua Brass. We have annealed this, full-length sized it, as well as set our neck tension at 2/1000 with our Sinclair expander mandrel. Hornady's part number for this 270 grain ELD-X is the 33371. The primer we're using for today's video is a CCI 250 large rifle Magnum primer. We've had pretty good luck with this so far, and so at least initially this is where we're going to start our load development. Alliant Reloser 26, we are starting at 85 grains. We're stepping up in 0.5 grain increments all the way to 89.5 grains. The cartridge rifle length we're loading is the 3.625 inches. In case you're interested, the CBTO of that is 2.83 inches. And at that stock value, we are actually almost 140 thousandths off the lands. Quite a distance. Our load conditions for today are 53 degrees Fahrenheit, 28.52 inches of mercury, 84% relative humidity, and a density altitude of 1,372 feet. So guys, I've heard you loud and clear. You guys are interested in the range footage, so let me take you out to the range real quick, and you can see these as they shoot, obviously from lowest to highest. After we're done, we'll come back and discuss the results. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Not sure exactly what to say. The 9-shot group was 2.224 MOA. If you actually include that top shot, 4.37 MOA. If you caught my last video, I did confess that this was the second group that we shot today. Somewhere along the way today, we actually did finally figure out that the scope base was loosening up again. I do think we're going to have a fix for that, but we're not going to get into that today. Stick around. Once I have everything locked down and I've been able to test it, we are going to have a video on it here on the channel. Yes, guys, everything was torqued and Loctited. But let's not get too distracted in that. Let's talk about our results. We'll put our velocity graph on the screen, and you'll see that I somehow missed our data point at 89 grains. Left an awfully big hole to wonder what node might be there, but the data is what the data is. Can't really do much to change it. As you can see, the 85 and 85.5 grain charge were very close to the extreme spread of only 3 feet per second at that half grain increment, only to be outdone at the 87.5 to 88 grain charge, being there's only 2 feet per second extreme spread between those loads. Obviously at 85 grains, going from 2694 all the way to our max velocity today at 89.5 grains, we reached 2,823 feet per second, very close to what our estimate was for the load data. We didn't quite hit that 2850 expected by Hornady's data, but keep in mind we have got 3 inches less barrel, and that really might have been our difference for today. Seeing as our distance to the lands is actually so significant, I'm sure in the future we'll be pushing it closer to the lands to get a more reasonable jump. Biggest note I guess I'm interested in, somewhere around that 2760 feet per second mark would be certainly where I would try if I was only going to pick one. Right around that area is worth exploring. We very well might have a nice low extreme spread, low SD load to be found in there. But again, probably move these a little closer to the lands to hope our accuracy would be a little bit better. So, talked about pressure. Let's put the brass on the screen. As you can see, starting at 85.5, really nothing to be concerned of, all the way up to 89.5. Really nothing I was concerned with here at all. I will put that Herter's factory 250 grain case head alongside of these so you can compare what a factory case looked like to these. Really nothing that concerned me here. We still maintain slightly rounded primers. Nothing here that concerned me at all. And certainly nothing that's going to keep me from going back and trying that 2760 feet per second load. So guys, if the 270 grain ELD-X isn't your thing, we do have a couple more projectiles that we're going to be testing. Make sure you stick around for those. But even if you're not reloading for 338 Lapua Magnum, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any comments or questions, please put them in the comment section below. If you want to make sure you keep up with this project, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you get notified when I post next week's video. I hope to see you back next week, and until then, stay safe in small groups.